Hello everyone, welcome to today's lesson. This being the first lesson in this channel. Welcome everyone. Before we continue, please subscribe to our channel so that you can be receiving these kind of lessons. And I promise you they will be of importance to you all. Thank you. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is mathematics, the common mistakes in mathematics. That is paper 1 and paper 2. But today I'll talk about paper 1. Thank you. Yes, commonly tested topics. We have from Form 1, we have time. That is our topic in Form 1. Polygons, GCD/LCM. We have simultaneous equations. We have common solids, nets of solids. Also, we have commercial arithmetic, and we have geometric construction. We have rotation symmetry. These are common topic tested in paper 1. We have indices. We have equation of a straight line. We have trigonometry ratio. We have quadratic equation. We have linear equation. We have statistics 1. And we have vectors 1. Form 3, commonly tested topics in Form 3, we have formation of quadratic equations. We have trigonometry 2, solutions of triangles. That is Form 3, where you'll be asked to use a cosine rule, you'll apply sine rule, and so on. In Form 4, commonly tested topics in paper 1, we have calculus. To be specific, that is differentiation. We have area and approximation. That is Form 4 topic. Remember, these are only commonly tested topics, but there are other topics. Remember, in paper 1, 90% will come from Form 1 end. Form 2, the other percent will come from Form 3 and Form 4. Mathematics has two sections. That is section A and section B. Section A comprises of question 1 to 16. Then question B comprises of 8 questions. That is number 17 up to number 24. Here you are required to only choose 5 questions from this section. So you have to be keen when you are choosing questions from this section B. What do you need to master when you are doing or sitting for a paper 1 mathematics KCC? What you need to master is that avoid premature approximation. Always work out with a minimum of 4 significant figures. Attempt simpler questions first, then graduate to complex ones later. Avoid cancelling your work in section 1. Avoid cancelling your work in section 1. I'll talk about it later. In section 2, be careful to cancel attempted but not needed questions. Attempted but not needed questions. Another thing is follow specific instructions carefully in every question when presenting the answer. E.g., For example, a question is asking you to give the final answer in maybe 4 significant figures, then that means you must give your answer to 4 significant figures. Just know there is a difference between significant figures and number of decimal places. Continuation. You must show all the steps in your calculations to avoid losing marks unnecessarily. Show all your steps to avoid losing marks unnecessarily. Remember, even 1 mark in mathematics is of more important. You might get 79 and maybe an A starts from 80. You'll end up regretting why you lost that 1 mark. So you have to be keen. Then for calculations that involves constants like pi and radius of earth, r, and in the same question are not given, use those provided in the calculator or mathematical tables. Don't use your own constants. If they are not provided in the question, then you must use those provided in the calculator, or if they are in the mathematical table. For premature approximation, or we can say immature approximation, in this case the student is booked 1 mark. We said always work with a minimum of 4 significant figures. So to be on a safer side, ensure you work with a minimum of 4 significant figures to avoid losing 1 mark. Omission of calculation. Here, if you do your work without showing the calculation, that means you'll miss all the marks, because you can't get the answer without showing the working. So your work, the method you followed is the most important thing in mathematics. If you don't show the method or the working, then that means even if the answer you're getting is correct, you'll miss everything. So always ensure you show your work. Leaving the answer in unsimplified form. This one, that means let's say you're getting the final answer is 3/2. You leave it as improper fraction like that. That one, it means the student will lose the final mark, the answer mark. If you get non-terminating or recurring decimal, leave the answer as a fraction in its simplest form or simplified form. If you get a terminating decimal, write everything, not unless the instruction states otherwise. So you write everything the calculator displays, not unless the instructions says something else, maybe give you answer to a certain number of decimals. That's when you give your answer to that according to that instructions. But if the instruction does not tell you to leave your answer maybe to 4 significant figures and so on, and you are getting non-terminating, you are getting a terminating decimal, then write everything the calculator displays. If there is no evidence of factorization, then that means also the student will lose all the marks. For example, they ask you to find the square root of maybe a number more than 1,000, more than 300, and so on. Then you decide to use a calculator, and the question tells you to use what without using a calculator. That means you lose all the marks. Use of protractor in geometrical constructions is a mistake. If the question tells you to construct using a pair of compasses and let's say construct this angle and so on, then you end up measuring the angle. That means we will mark everything, but at the end of awarding the total marks, we will subtract 1 mark. So if the question carries 10 marks and there is some way where you used a protractor, you measured an angle using a protractor, then that means you'll end up getting what? 9 marks. If the question, in the question there is a term hence, that means whatever you measured, you must use it in that calculation or in that question. For example, in construction question where they ask you to drop a perpendicular, then measure it, and hence calculate the area of the triangle. And that means you must use the formula a half base times height, and the height you are going to use is the height you measured. That's why there was a hence. Statistics, my advice to the students is that when they ask you to create frequency distribution table, for easier calculations of frequencies, create a tally column, not unless the frequencies are already given in the table. But if they are not there, you are the one to find them, then that means kindly create a column for tally for easier calculations. If the question is asking the learner to draw a histogram, to draw means use a ruler. Then in statistics, there are 3 cases when asked to draw a histogram. Case number 1, it depends with the data. Case number 1, where the data given, the first class does not start from 0. E.g., you have 20 to 29. In this case, start the horizontal axis at the lower class boundary, and then you can plot frequency or frequency density, that is on y-axis, against upper boundaries. The above applies if the data is what? Non-continuous. Case number 2, if the data given, the first class starts from 0. In this case, start the horizontal axis at 0 and make sure you use uniform scale. Then draw frequency density or frequency against the class boundaries. And B, the difference between boundaries and limits is that you cannot go beyond boundaries, but you can go beyond limits. Case 3, if the class has no uniform intervals, then you must draw frequency density against class boundaries. Frequency density against class boundaries. Once again, just a reminder, kindly subscribe to my channel as we continue with our lesson. Thank you. Let me talk about frequency polygon. For frequency polygon, create a class before the first class whose class size is same as that of the first class. Then again create another class after the last class whose size is same as that of the last class. These classes created are called parent classes, and they have a frequency of 0 to enable the polygon to be anchored at the x-axis. What you need to know in a frequency polygon, you cannot plot or draw a frequency polygon on a frequency density axis. That's why it's called frequency polygon. It must be plotted frequency against midpoints and join the points with a straight line. Thank you so much. Subscribe as we wait for another lesson. Thank you.